Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, your Tribal God of Extreme, Peter Joseph here, for video number 2. On your late Wednesday night, April the 30th, 2025, or if you're watching on the replay, for all my great people that watch on the replay, because I know you do, it is now the 1st of May, May the 1st, 2025. Thank you all for watching right here, right here, on the Peter Joseph YouTube Wrestling Channel, youtube.com/Peter Joseph. Make sure you like the video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like the video. Hit that subscribe button down there. You know where it is. In my pants. Otherwise known as the description marks below. So subscribe to this channel and my other channels as well. Show your love and support. Still on our road to 800 subscribers. We're getting there. We're getting there. Slow and steady. We got a few weeks to go. Hopefully, we'll get to 800 by Memorial Day. So we've got about 30, as with this video, 30 more days away. Got the rest of May to go to get there. Get there about 15 or so away. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if we're going to get there, but hopefully we will. But we'll see what happens with that. So subscribe to my channels. Make sure you leave... well, if you want to leave a comment, you can do that, but don't leave stupid comments because they'll get deleted. And possibly you will get blocked and sent to the Shadow Realm where Satan will eat your soul. So please, do not do that, because Satan and maybe Kefka will kick your ass. That's all I gotta say about that. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Share the video all over the internet. And don't forget to tap and slap that goddamn bell. Turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next one. Because if you do, you need to get slapped in the face. Because you, fat boy, you're SOL. And if you don't know what it means, look it up. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. And for our newcomers that are here for the very first time, you like what you see, and you want more, well, two things. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe to my, to the channel, and my other channels as well. That's really three things, I guess. So, subscribe to this channel, show my other channels your love support, and number three, hit that fucking bell, turn on all notifications so you don't miss anything, and hopefully, Neil and his team of monkeys that can't fix this website will somehow send my videos out to you. If they're not getting out to you, then unsubscribe, please subscribe again, hit the bell again, and hopefully that'll work. If not, then blame Neil. Blame that idiot Neil that runs this goddamn place. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. And as we say in the business, when you do subscribe, we say, welcome to the party, pal! We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, relax, you grab that cold one. Well, I had a cold one, I finished it. Because I was thirsty. But, okay, maybe I'll get one later, maybe I won't. But, anyway. And, that's a pretty hard to eat for that. So, as we say, welcome to the party, pal. We hope you enjoy the ride. Sit back, relax, put your feet up, grab yourself a cold one, and enjoy the show. If you like the video, then hit that thumbs up button, telling people you liked it. Stick that thumb straight up their ass if they don't like it. And if you don't like it, well, get out of here. Go watch somebody else. And block me. Simple as that. And if you can't do that, then you got problems. And you think you need to see a doctor. Because you are probably super obsessed. And I know a lot of obsessed people that love me. And their mothers do too. And their girlfriends too. So, I got a lot to give. So we got all that. So, that's that. Alright, enough about that spiel. Let's get to the video at hand. Alright, hope everybody had a great Wednesday. It was nice and warm here in the Northeast. It's getting cooling down a little bit as of right now. It's late night. It's after midnight, so it is Thursday here in the Northeast. 57 degrees. Gonna be a little bit chilly tomorrow. Not that bad. It should be about 60, 65 degrees. And then, lots of rain coming. between tomorrow and next weekend. It is crazy. No stops either. So, gonna be a really shitty Cinco de Mayo weekend for all you people that celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I know you know who, but we'll try to make the most of it. But if we can't, we can't. But enjoy tomorrow while you can, because the weekend plans you might have to bring it inside, especially those Cinco de Mayo plans. But mostly everybody's gonna go to the bar, get drunk, get laid, do whatever, and who knows? Who knows what happens after that? But me and the missus might go on Monday, but maybe we'll see what happens with that. We got other plans on the weekend to do, so some cleaning and some other plans. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we're very busy people, so that's all I gotta say about that. But whatever you're doing this weekend, be safe, be well, and that's that. And if you are drinking for Cinco de Mayo weekend and on Cinco de Mayo, know when, just say when. Drink responsibly. But, if you're a raging alcoholic, then, well, I can't say anything else about that, so we move on with that. Just make sure you have a bucket nearby. Because you don't want to have, you can have all the good drunk sex you want, but then, you're getting it on, and then next thing, bleh! Not that it's happened with me and the missus, but we wait till after she's, kind of sober-ish. But, sometimes we do it when she's drunkish. But if I know she's about to spew, not that kind of spew, but, the mushroom barley superstar's coming up, I have to, hey! Here's the bucket! Then, have to wait a while, because she has to brush her teeth, and I don't want to kiss her while she has the mushroom barley soup in her mouth. That's disgusting! I know that I just said that disgusting TMI, but whatever. But be responsible, know when to say when, and if you are having that wild, drunk sex, which is the best sex in the world, guys, for the love of God, wrap it up. Wrap up that burrito, because you don't want to have a little bambino in 9 months. Doesn't sound right, because it's Italian and Spanish in between, but it is what it is. But just be safe, be well, and, wrap up the Jimmy. And that's that. Alright, enough about the, PSAs for now. I could do it on a radio show if I wanted to. But anyway, hope everybody enjoyed their Wednesday, and has a great Thursday as we begin the month of May. We're not going to begin with May flowers, per se, but we got that. So, the countdown is now on to Labor Day weekend, which is pretty much a month from now. Well, not a month, about 3 weeks away, actually. I just looked at my calendar. 3 weeks away? Wow. Till Memorial Day weekend. Because it's the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. So, 3 weeks away from the unofficial start of summer, my friends. I told you, time flies when you're having fun. And as my good friend Ferris Bueller would say, life moves pretty fast. You don't sit around to think about it once in a while. You could miss it. So, you're just flying by, hey, I thought it was Friday. No, it's Sunday. What? What now? Everything that's happening now is happening now. What happened to then? We missed it. See? Spaceballs tells us a lot of things, and so does Ferris Bueller and Back to the Future. The 80s told us a lot of shit. Not that anything's good about it, but, not about now, but, then, the 80s was just an amazing fucking time. I wish we can go back to the 80s, can we? No. We don't have a time machine, we don't have a DeLorean. We don't have a guy named Doc, or Marty McFly. McFly! Oh, you want to go chase that? I saw that fax! Biff. Hey, make it like a tree and get out of here. No, you idiots! Make like a tree and leave! What is wrong with you? Make like a tree and leave! God, I just sound like my old self. What? Never mind. Get out of my car, man! I can recite Back to the Future 1 and 2 pretty much in its entirety. 3, not so much. Because 3 sucks. I'm saying. I didn't really like Back to the Future 3. It was just retarded. Not many good lines in it, but... not many good one-liners like 1 and 2 had. But I digress. I'm George. George McFly. I'm your density. Your destiny. Oh. You know, thinking about it, Marty McFly's mom was a whore back in the day. She was a whore. I'm just saying. Hey, McFly. Okay. Anyway, let's move on from that. But yeah, like I said, the 80s were just an amazing time. Great music, great movies, great everything. So, I wish we can go back there. Like I said, we don't have a DeLorean. We don't have, a guy named Doc to tell us, how to use a time machine. We don't have any of that shit. We do kind of have DeLoreans, but they call Cybertrucks, but they look ridiculously dumb. If you have a Cybertruck, God bless you. They look like kit cars, but bigger. Just, I can't stand looking at those Cybertrucks. They look hideous. But if you have one, good luck for you. Good for you. That's all I gotta say about that. Alright, enough about that. Alright, on this late Wednesday night, early Thursday, right here on the Peter Joseph channel, I'm your wacky host, Peter Joseph. I'm a content creator to talk about the wonderful world of professional wrestling, movies, music, 80s, whatever I feel like talking about. And if you like it, because I know you will, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share it with your friends, and don't forget to tap that bell. Or else I'll force you to hit that bell. I'll make you listen to In This Moment 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. I'll do it. I'll make your ears bleed. Make it stop! No! No, you will listen to In This Moment, and Slayer, and everything else I like. I'll make you listen to Lady Gaga 24 hours a day. It'll make you feel insane. Oh, I'll make you listen to Bieber 24 hours a day of Bieber. I probably want to shoot myself in the first 5 seconds. Fuck Bieber. Fuck Kendrick Lamar for that matter, too. I'd probably want to shoot myself 10 minutes into that shit. After he says A minor, I want to shoot myself. Because Kendrick Lamar is boring. All mumble rap is just bleh. Bieber, the Antichrist. Celine Dion, the Antichrist. And I'm glad both of them are done with music. I'm kind of glad. Bieber has a kid or two, or at least 1 or 2 kids, with that whore of a wife. Good for him. Good for him. Let him stay home and do nothing all day. Because he ain't taking care of that brat. His whore is making more money than him. You know where he got all his money from? P. Diddy. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. Diddy, oh boy, P. Diddy, literally fucked him. Not that type of fucking, you know what I mean. His career is shot. Both of them, their careers are shot. P. Diddy's, I think, trial is starting. soon, I think. God forbid if I ever went on a trial like that. Ugh. They're like, guilty. I don't even have to even care about the fucking case. Guilty. Fuck him. I'm like, I don't care. He hung up with Bieber. That's my opinion. Get him out. Fuck him in jail. Let him rot in jail. I like them back in the 90s, not so much now. And he killed Biggie. Right, everybody's saying it's Suge Knight. No. P. Diddy got so jealous of how the Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, he got really jealous of Biggie Smalls. I'm telling you the truth. This is not a conspiracy theory. Suge Knight did not kill him. Tupac did not kill Biggie. You know who killed Biggie? P. Diddy. Because he was so fucking jealous that the Notorious B.I.G.'s was getting so much, attention and publicity. All P. Diddy did? Puff Daddy did? Walk around, dance around, all up in the videos. I mean, Suge Knight was right at the MTV Video Music Awards when he said that speech. You want to make a bid? Come to death row. And I'll let death row go. Oh, boy. You either, get fucked over by P. Diddy or get shot if you go to death row. Thank God, thank God. Thank the Lord up there, you great man up there, that, Snoop Dogg did get shot. He almost went to jail for a very long time for, killing people. That's why he made Murder Was the Case. And he got off. Thank the Lord for that, too. So if he would have got convicted, you wouldn't be hearing, Murder Was the Case. You wouldn't be hearing anything after that. There would be no Chronic 2000. You'll be hearing Snoop Dogg on Still DRE. Hitting corners in the Lolos, girl. You wouldn't be having Snoop Dogg and his many great solo albums. You'll be hearing "Beautiful, I Just Want You to Know." That song, or anything else that Snoop Dogg was on. Snoop Dogg would have done a cameo in a Katy Perry video for California Girls. Or anything else he would be in. Justin Timberlake wouldn't have been cameo in one of Snoop's videos. And Dr. Dre probably would have been dead too, if you think about it. Because he was in NWA. He was in that, gangster rap era. Well, thank God Dre's not dead. And Snoop isn't either, but that's real rap. Not this garbage rap that we hear with all these names that we never heard of. Who are these people? Big Bouncy? Who? You see all these rappers on Monday Night Raw. I'm like, who? Oh yeah, we know who Gabriel Iglesias is, but all these other people are like, who the fuck is that guy or that girl? Who the fuck are you? Oh, he's got a show on Netflix. I'm like, we're gonna watch that shit. Nah, I ain't gonna watch that shit. If it's not Cobra Kai, I don't care. There's not that many good shows on Netflix, I don't think, anymore. Besides Raw, what do you got? I mean, or you can watch old shit. Not that many new good shows on Netflix. I mean, I don't look around much, but I basically watch Paramount Plus, so I care less. So, I mean, if there's something good on Netflix, let me know. Maybe I'll watch it. I'll give it a chance. If anything, I'll just watch old Game of Thrones shit. That's what me and the missus have been doing. Because I do have season 1 on DVD. We watched all the other seasons, but, we like to get nostalgic and watch the old school Game of Thrones. Old school. She wants to watch Angel. I'm like, I got the DVDs here. I got the whole collection of Angel and Buffy. It's insane. I want to watch old school, Vampire Diaries. I don't have any of the DVDs of those. Or the originals, or what came after that, Legacies. But right now, there's no good teeny bopper, Vampire Diaries, Buffy, Angel type shows. Can't find it. I mean, there was one on the Sci-Fi Network. It didn't last that long, I think. I forgot what it was called. It was called Eddie Meets the Vampire, or some shit like that. With the Chinese guy that was in Spider-Man. You know who he is. Chinese, Japanese guy, whatever he is. I don't think it's on Sci-Fi anymore. Not that I watch Sci-Fi either, but anyway. But, you know, I try to find good, I like vampire shows, like Buffy, like Angel, like good stuff. Like, I remember back in the, you might remember back in the day, Jessica Marley, remember, Dark Angel for the 2 seasons I was on? Should have went 3, but Fox is a bunch of dicks. Same network that had Dollhouse. Remember that show with, Elijah Dushku? Elijah Dushku was one hot, piece of ash back in the day. She still is, but she's, like, older. Jessica Alba, you know, now, finally Jessica Alba's back on the market, you know, now I got a chance. She got rid of that idiot Cash Warren, whatever the fuck his name is. Not Cash Wheeler, because he's got a Glock, but I'm glad she got rid of that guy. Still has kids, but, you know, I'll deal with that later. But there's always a chance. So, Jessica Marie Alba, call me. That's all I gotta say about that. And Elijah Dushku, if you're still around, call me too. Even the chick that played, not Faith, the original, she was on the first season of Buffy and died the first couple of episodes. What was her name? It wasn't Faith. I forgot her fucking name. I'm gonna kill myself for freaking not thinking of this. I forget. But if you watch Buffy religiously, you know what I'm talking about? I miss Buffy. The original Buffys. Not the movie, because the movie sucked so bad. Even though Luke Perry was in it, that's the good thing about it. But Buffy was amazing. Angel was amazing. Even though Angel should have went 6 seasons. You know why he didn't go 6? The Boreanaz curse. What do you think the next show he went on, Bones, went? How many seasons? 5. His longest thing, the longest thing he ever did, Boreanaz. The longest show he did is as that Navy SEALs show. I don't even know if it's still there on anymore. I think it's gone. Who gives a fuck what David Boreanaz is doing right now? He fucked over the teeny boppers that religiously watched Angel. Even though season 4, they almost ended in season 4. It wasn't for, all of us petitioning to the CW11 to bring it back for season 5. And season 5 didn't even last that long. It started off good, but then the ratings started sucking, and then they just said, alright, watch the finale. And the finale was the biggest cliffhanger of them all. They're running from a horde. I mean, a horde of demons from hell. And all you got is Connor, Angel's son. You have Angel, you have Fred, or Illyria, the demon. Gunn. Who else was there? Well, Angel, of course. I think Doyle was there. There's like 4 or 5 people, I think. They're running from this hood. I think Drusilla was there. Not Drusilla, I'm sorry. Charisma Carpenter's character who had a son with... I couldn't believe my eyes. I was watching it, and I was watching an episode of Angel, and then, like, the first scene is, well, not the first scene. There was a scene where, Connor and Charisma Carpenter's character from Buffy crossed over to Angel. They're fucking. I'm like, what the hell? She used to be good, and then she turned bad. She's fucking Connor. They have a kid. I'm like, oh, great. That ain't gonna sit well with Angel. But where's Xander and all this? The fuck? Xander wasn't... I don't even think he was on maybe a couple episodes of Angel. I think my favorite episode of Angel is when Angel got turned into a puppet, and Spike comes into his office and he sees him as a puppet. He goes, bloody hell, you're a bloody puppet! Now shut up! Spike was great, man. I miss that guy. Anyway, moving on. Alright, we talked enough about the 80s and the 90s TV shows, which are amazing. Speaking of amazing, let's get into your late and out-of-date NXT review for Tuesday night, April the 29th. Belch. April the 29th, 2025. And we are back at home base, emanating from the Capitol Wrestling Center in Orlando, Florida. Alright, coming off Stand and Deliver, the after show last week. And, got a little bit to talk about from the TNA side. And, we had the return of the Supernova, Noam Dar, who beat Lexis King to become the new, I think 2 or 3 time Heritage Cup champion. Let's see what he's got to say. We have a returning NXT Women's Champion, two-time, and that's my third amazingly hot Asian wife, Io Sky. Oh, my girl Io is on the show, taking on Roxanne Perez. So we'll see what happens with that. And we got, we're on the road now to NXT Battleground. That's the same date, March the 25th in Tampa. Same night as Double or Nothing, which is going to be in Arizona. So, going to be an interesting flippity-dippity-doo on your computer. Or whatever you're going to be watching. You might watch Battleground on Peacock. And then you're watching Double or Nothing on Bleacher Report or Triller or whatever you're going to be watching it. Or just not watching one of them at all. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch Double or Nothing. I'll watch Battleground later. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And I think Double or Nothing's card, as it's looking right now, looks pretty good right now. But we'll talk about AEW tomorrow. And that's that. But let's get to NXT. So, like I said, back at home base at the Capitol Wrestling Center in Orlando, Florida. As always, our commentary team, the man with the creepy jacket, lots of candy. His name is Vic Joseph. And next to him, he's going to have another kid. He pretty much impregnated his hot wife, Carmella. They're about to have their second kid, even though they have kids from previous relationships. But their second overall kid, lucky you, that's Corey Slave. And the man who smokes more fucking weed than you do. That's a fact. The Kool-Aid Man himself, the two-time Hall of Famer, 6-time heavyweight champion and multiple-time tag team champion. You know him, you love him. Stephanie Foucault sure as hell loves him. Not like that, but, well, who knows. Oh no, Sharmell might have to hold her, put a leash on her husband, and his name is Booker T, sucker! Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Okay. Calm down, Booker T. She's not here yet. Anyway, we got that. we move on. Alright, so Tuesday night show was what it was. Wasn't that bad, but anyway, we got that. Alright, so we start off with the opening recap. And then we start off with the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. We say his name, and he appears. Sing with me now. I believe in Joe Hendry. Alright, so we see Joe Hendry showing up last week in Vegas, and then him and Oba threw Trick Willie out the ring onto the ramp, and then we see Joe Hendry at WrestleMania getting beat up by Randy Orton's monotonous voice, and then Trick Willie made a special appearance unannounced at Rebellion as he attacked Joe Hendry after Joe Hendry retained the TNA title against All Ego Ethan Page and Frankie Kazarian. And then we heard Mr. Hickenbottom, Mr. The Heartbreaking Shawn Michaels. He invited Joe to come on NXT. You have an open invitation. Alright, so we go to commentary. They're talking about Joe Hendry. You know, Vic Joe's like, oh, let's talk about Joe Hendry. And then you hear, say his name, and he appears. And Vic Joe's like, ah! Like Christmas came for Vic Joseph. Fucking marking out like a fucking idiot that he is. So Joe Hendry comes out and gets in the ring, talks about having a great week. You're right. Well, technically a great week. I mean, yeah, you were at WrestleMania in front of 63,000 people and losing to Randy Orton. Then last Tuesday you show up in some rinky-dink bingo hall in Vegas, and you and Oba have a little stare down. And then you go back to LA and retain your TNA title over, like I said, All Ego Ethan Page and Frankie Kazarian. So you technically had a good week, but it ended really bad because you got laid out by Trick after your match. So he talks about that, and that was Trick Willie crossing the line because he couldn't stand people talking about Mr. Joe Hendry. People were talking about Trick not being able to win. So he's like, oh, so he went after me, after me, and I got a violent side. I like to see that. But anyway, so Joe Hendry says, Trick Willie, get out here right now. So he's waiting for Trick Willie to come out. Then the lights go out. Sabu! No, not Sabu, but Dark State come out. And as you would think, Dark State beat the fuck out of Joe Hendry. They hit him with a triple power bomb. It seems like everywhere Trick is, Dark State's around somewhere. Dark State is like Allstate. Like a good neighbor, like a good neighbor, Dark State is there. I mean, if you are not following along, there is something wrong with you. I don't think Trick is affiliated with Dark State, but every time he's like fighting Oba. Next thing you know, Oba's getting beat up by fucking Dark State. What happened to Javon Evans? Got beat up by Dark State. Not because of Trick, because, you know, they were just in the back fucking around. That's why he got beat up. You know, he teamed up with Miles, don't call him Ozzy Osbourne. And proceeded to get his ass handed to him. And then he got beat up before that when Oba was defending against Trick and Javon Evans, who got beat up. Oba and Javon. Did Trick get beat up? No. There's something going on here. There's something doesn't sound right. One of these things just doesn't belong here. I mean, figure it out. Either Dark State's working for Trick, or Trick's having Dark State work for him. Something's going on. Something is going on. Or as my good buddy, my good, not Prince Nana, but my good buddy, Bret Michaels would say, what's going on? How you doing, Bret? I met Bret Michaels way long time ago. When he was doing that pet thing. He was going all like PetSmart, all the like Petco, and I think it was just PetSmart. I don't think it was Petco. But in any case, I met him at a PetSmart in Lower Manhattan. Great guy. We talked about Poison. We talked about when he was on the Celebrity Apprentice the first and second time. I think it was after he got fired he won the first Celebrity Apprentice, then he lost the second one, got fired in the first week. I'm like, what? I was like, Donald Trump, what are you doing, dude? I don't like him, he was fired. You're fired. You're fired. I forgot who won that second season. Not that anybody cares. But Bret Michaels was the first one. That's when he had that whole brain thing. We all thought that Bret Michaels was about to die. Thankfully, he didn't. He still rocked out with his cock out. All right. But yeah, meeting him was like, it was great. Like I said, we talked about Poison. I actually asked him. He says, "Do you really think Poison is a nostalgia act now?" He says, "Well." I says, well, I kind of grew up in the 80s when you guys were just kicking ass in the 80s, you know? He says, how old are you? I go, dude, I grew up in 76. Do the math. I mean, I get that all the time when people when people meet me, they say, how old are you? I go, 48. Nah, you ain't 48. I was like, you want me to show you my birth certificate? My driver's license? 76, 2025. Do the math. You know when you go to amusement parks, they usually have a thing. It's like, guess my age, and you waste $5. To guess the person's age. Man, I wish I had that job. And if I had a summer job just for that, doing that, I bet you nothing. In one day, I make a lot of money. Because nobody would guess my age. I'm like, oh, no, thank you for your $5. I'm gonna even give you a second chance. Look at me. How old are you? 26. 25. 45. Close, but no cigar. And somebody will eventually get it. I'm like, fuck. But I still have the money. All you get is a freaking... You don't get nothing. Or you might get like a stuffed doll or something like that. I don't know how those work. I think if you guess the age, you get the money in a pot or some shit like that. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. Alright, so Darkseid beats up Joe Hendry. We'll see what happens with that. And we move on. Alright, so I gave that 3 out of 5 stars. Then we go to a video from earlier in the day. We have the beautiful Ava Raine. Looked pretty damn nice in that little get-up she was in. She had her hair almost like, in some Afro puffs. I think she's Rage from Death Row Records. I rock rough and stuff in my Afro puffs. Rage, rock on with your bad self. That's another Snoop Dogg song. Snoop Dogg was, got shot, there would be no Death Row Records, there'd be no Rage and everybody else that was on that came out of that, really. Besides Dre, of course, and Suge, and Pac. Anyway, moving on. Alright, so Ava Raine invites my girl Io Sky back to NXT for one night only and asked her if she had a partner for later on. I said, why did I say she's defending the belt against Roxy? Woohoo! Botch. Botchamania. I get one a show. Anyway. And I use them up. But out the grass. Anyway. Excuse me. Alright, so we get that. So, alright, so Ava asked Io if she found a partner, for later on in the show, because of what happened on Raw, with Julia and Roxy attacking her, and then Mommy Rhea Ripley saving her, so I was thinking, oh, maybe her and Mommy come back to NXT to take on Julia and Roxy. Well, Io's like, oh, no, me no have partner. And then Big Mama Pump, Jordynne Grace, comes in and says, hey, I heard you need a partner. I'll be your partner. And Io's like, works for me. Alright, so we got Io and Jordynne Grace teaming up for the first time against Julia and Roxy for the first time. So there you go. Alright, moving on. 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, then we go to the kitchen, somewhere, I guess, in catering. Anyway, we see the beautiful Carmen Petrovich. She's there with Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley of, well, I don't know if they still call them, Chemical X, because we rarely see Shotzi. Anyway, so they're there. And she listens to them venting about their losses as of late, especially at Rebellion, when they were going for those TNA Knockouts tag team titles and lost to they lost to the eventual winners, and that was Ash and Heather by Elegance as they retained the titles. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, so that's that. And then the resident pimp, Ashanti the Adonis, comes in. And he tells his, so-called girlfriend, hoe, I don't know what they are. Anyway, he says, Carmen, I got you a match with the NXT Women's North American Champion, Sol Ruca. And then she's like, oh, great! And he's like, I'll see you two losers later. And Carmen's like, I was like, what'd you say? She didn't really like him calling Gigi and Tatum losers. So we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so I get that 2.25 out of 5 stars. Back to the ring we go. We have a title match. We have the men's North American title being defended by our good buddy, Absolute Ricky Starks. Well, he takes on the number 1 contender, I guess, Lexis King, former Heritage Cup champion. So he lost the Heritage Cup to Noam Dar last week, and in the process, he asked for a North American title shot right after he lost it, and then Ricky's like, okay. Alright, so 8.5 minute match. Wasn't great, but it is what it was. Alright, so Ricky gets jumped right at the bell. That doesn't sit well with the champ, who fights his way back without even taking off his vest. And then Lexis King is getting beat up in the corner. He's in trouble, but he gets in a shot to face, knocking Ricky down. They get back up, and Ricky sends Lexis to the outside for a dropkick through the ropes. As we go to break, we come right back. Both of them hit cross bodies at the same time. Ow. And then Lexis King goes up top, hits a swanton bomb for a near fall. And then a fireman's carry gutbuster for a near fall. As Booker T wants him to follow up. Obviously, he did not. He goes for a tornado DDT. It gets countered. And then Lexis with a fruit roll-up for a near fall. Actually, Ricky tried for a tornado DDT, got countered into a fruit roll-up, excuse me, from Lexis King for a near fall. They get back up. Ricky hits the tornado DDT this time. Then he picks up Lexis, hits Roshambo. 1, 2, 3 in 8.5 minutes. Your winner and still reigning, defending North American champion, Absolute Ricky Starks. Pretty good match. 3 out of 5 stars. And that's that. So we'll see where Ricky goes from here. Who his next challenger could possibly be. And we get that. Alright, then we get a video of the culling that's showing Spears Group with Boogie Hogan 2.0, Izzy Dame, Nico, and the resident virgin Brooks Jensen. So Sean Spears isn't happy with their recent issues as of late, and their losses as well, but he wants Izzy Dame to put the spotlight on herself, and if they can become a better team, they will find some success. Well, you gotta pick up some wins to get some success these days. If not, you're pretty much gonna suck. That's pretty much it. Alright, so I give that 2.5 out of 5 stars. Alright, after that, we get to my cousin Tony D. Hey, Gus, wake up! Get over here! I'm sorry to wake you. Get over here for a second. That's my cousin. My legit cousin. I'm not kidding about that. My legit cousin, Tony D'Angelo, who made me a great chicken roll today. He made me a good chicken roll today, and I only got it for $2. If you want a chicken roll from Tony, you get it for $10.50. Because you're not Italian. Ha! Even if you were, you would get it for $10.50. I get mine for cheap. So, fuck you. Because he's my cousin. Anyway, even though, yeah, cause, I don't know what was in that sauce, made me, maybe too much basil. Yeah, too much, no. Next time, put a smidge for me, okay? Good. Anyway, moving on. Alright, so Tony D comes out, and, he has some of his security guards there. I don't know who these Goombas are. So he's like, do you guys really think I expect this Stacks to turn on me at the pay-per-view? I'm like, no. Actually, I did. I knew Stacks was suspect from the first minute I saw him. That bastard. Stacks. We get that. So he's like, I didn't expect Stacks to turn on me because we've known each other since we were kids. Stacks would go after someone and I would step up for him because that's what, that's the meaning of loyalty. But the thing is, Stacks has always wanted to become the boss. And while he stepped up as of late, when it was needed, even when I was hurt, when Tony was hurt, he's been kind of a hothead and put the team in a lot of jeopardy, especially with Dark State and Chase U at times, So Stacks is, kind of thinking he's the Don, the boss, but it's just an underboss. So Tony D says, that's what made me step in and make the save against Dark State, which is why Stacks waited for the right moment to stab me in the back. So he says the family's all scattered. Luker's, I don't know where Luker is. Rizzo's in a safe house. We're all scattered. Blah, 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 blah. And then, these people come out. There's, these other security guards. I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? And Tony D kind of takes him out with ease. And, or actually, before they come in, they kind of surround the ring. And then Stacks appears on the Tron. And he's at, where is he at? Yeah, he's at somewhere in the city, like near he's on a bridge basically, I think. I'm like, I think I knew where this is going. I'm having Stone Cold Rock vibes over the world title. Remember that from the Attitude Era? Some of you do, some of you don't. So he says, I'm not gonna show up to that ring right now. So he's like, security won't let anyone do anything right now, but Tony D, you need to hear something. And that's why my notes disappeared. My notes just disappeared. They fucking disappeared. I mean, what, did Peanut just come in? Jeff Dunham. Alright, moving on. Alright, there we got him back. Alright, so, Stack says, reality is Tony doesn't understand that you're not the leader anymore. You've gone soft. Soft? And you don't even know who you can trust anymore. So Tony D, like, looking back at his security and like... So then the other goons come in, go after Tony, who basically wipes him out without much trouble. Then he tells Stacks to bring it, but then all Stacks does is... Shut up, bitch. That's it. Stacks does nothing but, like, growl and sneer. So, so the battle for the dawn of NXT continues on, and, we'll see what happens with that. I think Rizzo might get whacked. Or something's gonna happen to Rizzo next week. I don't know. And who knows where Luker is? He's probably still in the desert somewhere in Vegas. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so I gave all that 3.25 out of 5 stars. And we move on. Alright, then we go to the lounge, where we have the reunion of Metaphor. Alright, so we have the Heritage Cup champion, Noam Dar. He's there. Hey, we have an Oro Mensa sighting. He's back, temporarily. And we have the Meta Girls, Miss Jakara, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, and my girl, Lash Legend. Get done. They're there. They're all happy to be back. But Lash like, boss, we gotta talk. So they all sit down. I'm like, oh no, what now? So Lash and Chikara seem to think it's, I think it's time for us to go our separate ways. And kind of mentions like, oh, we've been doing good things with the women's tag team belts, and then we went to TNA to try to get those belts, but you lost. And Aura's doing whatever he's doing. You won the cup, but we need to go our separate ways. And sadly, Noam Dar says, you know what? Yeah, we all need to go our separate ways. And that's it. They leave on good terms. So I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe Jakara and... I think Jakara and Lash are going up to the main roster. Or Mensa, I have no idea what's going to happen with him. I think he might be lost in the shuffle. God forbid, he goes up. I'm like, why would he go up? What did he do? What has he done good in NXT? Not much. But... I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But sucks that another faction goes to the wayside. And we'll see what happens with, Noam Dar. Maybe he goes up to the main roster after he gets done with his time in NXT. Whether he loses the Heritage Cup too, I don't care. Or Mensa, whatever he does, don't care. And, like I said, I think we're going to see more of the Meta Girls on maybe Raw or SmackDown. And I think Trick Willie will come up pretty soon as well. I don't know, that's going to be in the... I thought it'd be at the Raw after Mania, but all we saw was Julia, Roxy. Who else did we see that come up from NXT? I think it was just Julia and Roxy and Stephanie Ricker in a way, but I don't even know when the draft is, but when it does happen, I can bet you nothing that Trick Willie, Jakara Jackson, and Roxy's definitely pretty much on the main roster, even though she's jobbing. She goes over an hour in the Royal Rumble, and then next thing you know, she's jobbing at everybody. I'm like, what the hell? Did she piss somebody off? I don't get it. Hasn't really won a match in a while, too, so she had to piss somebody off. Or it's just tough love from Triple H. I don't know. But, yeah. So I can see Roxy on the main roster. Jakara and Lash as on the SmackDown and Raw roster. Trick Willie. Eventually Oba will get there, but probably won't be till next year. He's got a lot of things to do in NXT, and who he loses that belt to, I don't know. I think he might lose it back to Trick. I don't know. I mean, if Oba beats Trick again, because it looks like they're going with another match, possibly at Battleground with Oba and Trick, and if Trick loses, most likely he's going to be up on the main roster by the time we hit Money in the Bank, or maybe after that in July. I can't really tell you one person on that roster right now. Maybe Ricky Starks is the guy that beats Oba for that NXT World title, but then again, I don't know. Alright, so we got that. So, Metaphor is history, and I guess we'll see what happens with Noam Dar with his Heritage Cup on the NXT show, and that's that. Alright, moving on. So I gave that 2.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, go back to the ring with the ladies. We have Karin Petrovic and the resident Surfer Girl, the Women's North American Champion, Sol Ruca, non-title affair. So Sol Ruca comes out with her bestie, Delta, and then Ashanti Adonis comes out with his so-called girlfriend. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, not that long of a match, 3.5 minutes. Did I say 3.5 minutes? Alright, so Carmen is sent to the floor to start. Avoids a moonsault, only to get kicked in the ribs back on the inside. Ow. Sol gets knocked into the corner for a baseball slide. Safe! But is right back up for the comeback, and a running kick to the titties. Looks to set up the Soul Snatcher, which surprisingly for once got broken up. And I think Sol went to the got sent to the outside. Carmen brings her back in, and Sol pulls her out of the corner and sets up the Soul Snatcher. 1, 2, 3. So Sol Ruca gets the win pretty easily over Carmen, and I gave the match 2.25 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, well, Ashanti the Adonis is not too happy about that, and pretty much for his trouble, gets kicked right in the face. And I hope they officially have broken up for good, because their storyline or whatever it is, it's garbage. They break up, next week they're back together. Makes no fucking sense to me. That's that. Alright, moving on. Alright, there we see Trick Willie! Shamon, he comes out to whoop that trick. What? Whoop that trick. I like it. Okay, Booker T's going nuts again. Oh yeah, man. Alright, so Trick gets right to the point, calls out Joe Hendry, who obviously does not appear this time, because we say his name, he appears, but now this time he did not appear, because Dog State took him out. So he mentions that Joe Hendry got the best of Trick last week, so Trick showed up at Rebellion to take him out for revenge, and while he was in Los Angeles for Rebellion, he got a spot on the CW hit show All-American, and I think the season finale is this coming Monday, and nobody's gonna watch that shit. But anyway, good for Trick. So he calls himself Hollywood Trick, and the fans start chanting his name. And he calls Joe Hendry local talent. Wow. So Trick says, I don't want Joe Hendry, I don't want no local talent. I want the Ruda, the champ, Oba, who, Femi, and he wants the NXT title. So instead of the Hula coming out, Ava Raine comes out and reminds Trick of his ejection last week, because Trick, after he got basically beat up by Oba and Joe Hendry in Vegas, and then he goes to the back, starts kicking over things, breaking equipment, and then Ava basically kicked him out. And Trick's like, I don't really give two fucks about that. I'm the biggest star in NXT and TNA. Well, TNA, I beg to differ with that one, but I digress. So Ava says, you know what, Trick? You can have your title shot if, and only if, you win a 25, there's surprisingly 25 people in NXT, a 25-man Battle Royal next week, with the winner getting the shot at Battleground. Alright, so we got, actually, it's not everybody from NXT. We got some people from LFG, which I'll talk about in a minute. We got some of the men from LFG. We got a few people from TNA, don't know who. And we got some of the people from the roster. So Trick Willie wants to get another shot at Oba. He has to beat 24 other guys. So see what happens with that. So it's going to be nice to see, some of the LFG guys in that very ring. Like maybe Shiloh Hill, maybe Anthony Luke, maybe Jasper Troy, the Reaper. Hey, maybe Chris Island. Who knows? As long as it's not BJ Ray. Oh, that guy's a fucking egomaniac. And so last week, he got rid of his arch nemesis Cutler. What's his name? James Cutler, whatever. Cutler, the guy that's now in Dark State. So really, he didn't really get rid of him. But storyline purposes for LG. And now, this week is the playoffs. The first episode is the playoffs, and then the second week is the semis at MSG. They have the semis at MSG. And I think they already shot the finals at MSG too, didn't they? So it kind of makes no sense to have him on the show. Like, who won? What are you guys doing here? Unless it was a live finale. I don't know. But anyway, moving on. Alright, so we got that. So 25-man Battle Royal. This coming Tuesday on the program. And we got that. And we move on. Alright, so I gave that 3 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we see Roxanne Perez. She's in the women's locker room. She's talking to Julia before their tag team match with Jordan Grace and Io. And it seems like, they're kind of coexisting. We don't know, technically, but it seems like Julia respects her. Well, time will tell if that's gonna continue on. But we'll see. Ugh. That's that. Alright, so I gave that segment 2.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we see, we go to back with Kelly Kincaid, or Quinn McKay from Ring of Honor. She's there with the Hula, the NXT champion, Oba, who, Femi. He's there, he's all fine with facing Trick Willie again. If he wins the battle, he's like, I don't care if you win a Battle Royal, and we can do this 500 times, and I'll still beat your ass. And then we have another special guest, and we have the Phenom, the GOAT of all GOATs of the modern era, The Undertaker, making a surprise appearance on NXT. He comes in and says, I like what you're doing. This is now your yard, but, and there's a but, and it stinks. He said, some of those guys in that Battle Royal are some of my good buddies from LFG, and they're coming for you. So we see Jasper Troy, the Reaper, Shiloh Hill, or the young version of Bray Wyatt, See, Shiloh should have done a freaking Bray Wyatt gimmick. He looks like Bray Wyatt. His face just looks almost exactly like Bray Wyatt. I'm saying, bring Shiloh. If you really want to make the Wyatt 6 look great, what I would do, bring up Shiloh Hill and put him in the Wyatt 6. And then have Shiloh Hill be the leader of the Wyatt 6. Not Alexa Bliss. That's thinking about doing that. I don't know why. But you have Shiloh Hill in that group being the 6th member instead of, Alexa Bliss being the 6th member. Shiloh Hill as a young Bray Wyatt. That would be epic. And then give her the Bray Wyatt gimmick. Have him go, follow the pussy. And he goes, run. I'm just saying, he looks like a young Bray Wyatt to me. Alright, so Jasper Troy, the Reaper, is there, Shiloh Hill, and Maxine Dew. Wait! That's her husband, Anthony Luke. Alright, so they walk up to him, they stare at Oba, and then Oba shakes the Undertaker's hand and looks forward to the challenge. Oh, I would love to see Oba versus Jasper Troy. That would be a great match. I don't know about Oba and Anthony Luke. I think that's a little bit of a mismatch. Same thing with Shiloh Hill. But at least we see the LFG guys on the show. Though we don't see, like, who we didn't see. We didn't see Chris Island. We didn't see, Evander Holyfield's son. And we didn't see, what's his name? Troy Yearwood, I think. We didn't see that guy. We didn't see BJ Ray either, so. Or, Drake Moreau, that's, Roxy's boy. So I guess you know what that means. They probably got all eliminated. So I guess that's the final 3 in the semis. I don't know how that's gonna work. Maybe that's a prelude to the finale. So I assume. I'm not sure, but who cares? As long as BJ Ray does not win that, I care less. If anybody wins that, I would say give it to Shiloh or Jasper. I mean, nothing wrong with Anthony Luke. He just reminds me of a young Rock. Not the show, but, Dwayne. Alright, we got that. But great to see The Undertaker, the Phenom, the GOAT of all GOATs of the modern era. Better than Cena. And, in a way, a smidge better than Roman. Smidge, not a lot, a smidge. I know some people are gonna clip this and say, "Oh, Issa, look, yeah, Mr. KOD said that the Undertaker's a smidge better than Roman." Hey, it's my opinion. I love Roman, but you look at the from the Ruthless Aggression era on. I know Roman has held the belt longer than Taker. I understand that, but Taker was a real big part of the Ruthless Aggression era and a smidge of the PG era. So we got that. So great to see The Undertaker, and I give that segment 3.5 out of 5 stars. Yeah, I'm being a little bit biased because I'm an Undertaker mark, but it is what it is. Alright, now we get back to the action. NXT Tag Team titles on the line. The new champs to beat Fraxium at Stand and Deliver. That's Hank and Spank. They take on Josh Briggs and the legend Yoshiki Inamura, who kind of used an old Japanese secret to get a title shot. It really didn't work out for them as we get to the match itself. Inamura runs Tank over to start. The champs take Inamura down really quick. As they start fast and furious, Briggs comes in, knocks Hank down with a running shoulder block, and then everything starts to break down. We settle down to Inamura taking over on Tank, and a big-time chop. Woo! Sends us to a break. We go to break, and we come right back with Inamura striking away at Hank. Briggs comes back in with a splash for a near fall. So they're working on Hank, and eventually, Hank Hank goes back on the top rope clothesline. He gets the hot tag to Tank, or Spank, in this case. Hank gets sent into the ring steps. Ow! Which leaves Tank to get choke slammed. And then Inamura goes up top for a top rope splash. And that gets a near fall as Hank makes a save. So, get that. So he hits, so Hank makes a save. Inamura then picks Hank up and it swings him into Josh Briggs by mistake. Oops! And then Hank and Spank hit the neckbreaker power slam combo. 1, 2, 3. And they get the win to retain the belts. And that's pretty much it. Match wasn't anything to write home about. 2.5 out of 5 stars. And bleh. Not that there's much of the tag team division in NXT right now. I don't even know what happened to Gallus again. I think they got lost in the shuffle again. Sucks. Alright, speaking of tag teams, we do have Catch Point 3.1. That's Miles still call him Ozzy Osbourne, and Tavion Heights. They're there with the lovely My Girl Maddie Winkowski, no side of Mr. Dempsey. So we see Tavion, Maddie, and Miles. They're all ready for the Battle Royal. Don't care what Mr. Rico's son Charlie Dempsey thinks about that. Uh-oh. There might be some trouble in Paradise. We'll see what happens with that. And no, Kofi Kingston's not gonna come out. Kofi Kingston! SOS! Okay. Who knows? Alright. So I gave that 2.25 out of 5 stars. Alright. Alright, lovelies. It's time to go back to school. I know a lot of people are going to be ending school later this month in May. Some people end in May. Others, like around my neck of the woods, you guys have to wait till the end of June. But in NXT land, we got the return of Chase. Alright, Mr. Chase is back with a whole new batch of students, even though Thea Hale's still there. And now we got the new students, Kale Dixon and Uriah Connors. So, well, we don't see them yet, but they're there. So Andre Chase starts his lesson, and he wasn't sure he was ever going to be back in Chase U again. And then we see Uriah Connors and Kale Dixon come in a little bit late, and then some douchebag named Chad doesn't like, says, "Hey, Mr. Chase, how about these guys coming in late? Weren't you guys supposed to be here at 9 a.m.? So Mr. Chase says, "Chad, I don't like having students talking to each other like that. But you know what? Fuck your question, Chad. Fuck you. Chase U's back." And it was like, "Yeah, Chase U. So I guess Chad couldn't hang. That's an old 90s joke. If you remember the hanging Chad fiasco with the election. I forget what that... I think it was Al Gore and George W. Bush. That whole saga back in the late... I think it was the late 90s or early 2000s. Hanging Chad. So that's where I get the pun from. Chad can't hang. I'd kill myself. I'll be here all week. Make sure you tip your waitress. That's it. Alright, so I gave that 3 out of 5 stars. Alright, back to the women's locker room we go. We see Sol Ruka and Delta. They're happy with Sol Ruka's win over Carmen Petrovic. And then the lovely Kaylani Jordan comes in, mocks Sol Ruka for not defending her belt in that match like a real champion would. And then Delta's not pleased with that and says, "Hey, Kaylani, if you want a title shot, you gotta go through me first." So, next week, we got Kaylani versus Delta, and the winner of that will face Sol Ruka, most likely at Battleground for the Women's North American title. I think we're gonna get Delta winning that match. And then I think Delta will eventually turn heel, probably before or at Battleground, and she's going to be a monster heel, like she was in Japan. So we get that. Alright, moving on. So I gave that 2.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we go to the trainer's room where Joe Hendry's getting all looked over by the trainer, the medical staff. Hank and Spank come in and basically says, "Hey Joe, we believe in you. You know, we got your back against Dark State." So I'm like, oh great, a 6-man tag team match coming up out of this probably next week. Not that I care, but... Alright, so I gave that 2.5 out of 5 stars. And we move on. Then we go to the... We go to your main event of the evening for NXT. Women's tag team match, Roxanne Perez and Julia teaming up for the first time, taking on Jordynne Grace and the Raw Women's Champion, Io Sky. Looking great as always. Alright, decent match. They fight on the floor to start, and Roxy and Julia are in big time trouble. Io gets caught in the wrong corner, but gets out of that, hits a double drop kick, and Jordynne Grace comes in to help Io with the electric chair Swanton Bomb combo on Roxy. That was pretty impressive. Julia gets dropped as well. And an over-the-shoulder Gutbuster gives Jordynne Grace a near fall, even though it looked really sloppy. That could have been real damage, but I digress. Alright, so Roxy offers a distraction, which leads to Julia getting in the old Roddy Piper eye rake. Okay, so they take over. Jordynne's in trouble for the moment. And then Jordynne hits a Russian leg sweep. Actually, Roxy hits that for a near fall. Then somehow Io comes in, rolls Roxy up for a fast near fall. Referee, go fast, too fast. Calm down. Jordynne goes for a second electric chair drop. That doesn't work as well, as Io is sent face first into the apron. Ow! And then Jordynne it looked nasty. Anyway, go to break, we come back. Julia stomps Io for an air fall. I'm having visions of frickin' stardom. Oi! Julia and Io. Woo-hoo-hoo! Anyway, moving on. Alright, Julia stomps Io for an air fall, but Io rolls up Roxanne Perez, rolls Roxanne into a kick of her own. Jordynne Grace comes in, hits some running shoulder blocks before sending both of them flying at the same time. Whee! Io then goes up top, hits a top rope double stomp into a gory bomb. That looked nasty. That gets a near fall on Julia, as Roxy had to make the save. And then all 4 women are down. Roxy gets a blind tag, or makes the blind tag, allowing her to snap off a Super Hurricane Rana, bringing down Io. And then Julia plants Io, setting up Roxanne's double springboard moonsault for a near fall. And then Jordynne and Julia brawl up the aisle. That could be something interesting down the line. So that leaves Roxy and Io in the ring, and I'm like, oh great, here we go. Roxy's gonna job again. So Roxy and Io have a very nice, impressive pinfall reversal sequence, and obviously Io wins that, kicks Roxy in the gut. Then she does her, just a kip up into another kip up. Crazy! Fans love it. Io is getting over so well right now. I would hate for her to turn heel. I don't think the fans would love that. But then again, who knows? Why become heel? I hate you, fans! Yay! I hate you! Yay! Get sushi? Yeah! Anyway. Alright, so Io kicks her down, goes up top, hits the over the moonsault. 1, 2, 3, Io Sky and Jordynne Grace get the win in under 14.5 minutes. Match was pretty decent, 3 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, we see, okay, hold on now, calm down. After the match, Roxy's pissed. She's been losing a lot, so she should be pissed. So, alright, so we get that. Did anything else happen after that? I'll just check my notes for a second. I don't think anything else happened after that. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, not read the copy and everything. Yeah, nothing else happened. Okay. Alright, so Rax is all pissed off after the match, so we'll see what happens with that. Alright, then we go to the final segment of NXT. We see Ava Raine in her office. The NXT Women's Champion, Seth Ricard, comes in and says, well, who's my next challenger? So Ava tells Stephanie that, well, I'm in a match with Julia and Jordynne Grace, and the winner of that will face you at Battleground. And Stephanie's like, works for me. Alright, so we'll see who will become the number one contenders for the men's and women's world titles. We got that Battle Royal for Oba's title, and then we got Julia versus Jordynne Grace next week. That should be a pretty good match. And I assume Oba and Stephanie will be at ringside, or at least watching to see who their next challenger might be. And I think if you follow logic, and logic usually wins, I think at Battleground we'll see Julia, Stephanie 2 for that NXT World title. And then on the men's side, I think we're going to see, finally see one-on-one Oba versus Trick Willie. I think coming out of Battleground, I think we're going to see Oba retain. Maybe Stephanie beats Julia again, or Julia regains it. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with that. But those are most likely going to be the top two matches at Battleground. We might have an NXT Battleground match with maybe Tony D and Stacks. I don't know. That's the way it looks like they're heading to NXT Battleground. Maybe in that type of match, or some type of stipulation match. Maybe a cage. I don't know. But we'll see what happens with that. But Battleground right now, with those two matches most likely going to be made official probably by the end of next week. End of the show next week. That's not bad. I know it's going to be like a 5, maybe 6 match card. And, Double or Nothing's going to be like 35 matches. We know how Tony Khan is. That's just on the pre-show. But, yeah, Double or Nothing is gonna go from like 7, pretty much 7 to 12:30 at least. It's gonna go 4, maybe 5 hours. It's gonna be insane. And I know a lot of people who are gonna be enjoying their Memorial Day weekend festivities and doing their watch-alongs. They're gonna be doing a double watch-along. We'll be watching one match, and then you'll be watching a second match, or the end of the first match on on Battleground, while there's a match going on Double or Nothing. I know some people are gonna do that. I know Issa would probably be doing that, or just doing. Well, I would probably think she does Battleground and really doesn't do a watch long for Double or Nothing, but she will talk about Double or Nothing. But most of us will be. I think most of us will be watching one or the other. I'm going to be watching Double or Nothing. So when I'm in the chat and I'm watching Double or Nothing while she's watching Battleground, I'll just, me and a couple other people that'll be watching Double or Nothing will be typing in the chat, oh, Kenny beat this person, or Bucks win, some shit like that. But I'll watch Battleground on the replay, or probably early Monday before I go out for my Memorial Day barbecue. If it's, depending on the weather, of course, but if not, stay home, just chill with the missus, and, make our own barbecue. Well, not barbecue per se, because I can't go out for the barbecue. We'll make it on the stove. We'll have some nice mean steaks, stuff like that. So we'll have our own barbecue, and then we'll watch Monday Night Raw. Well, in the day we'll watch Battleground, and then we'll take a break. We'll watch Battleground, have our big juicy steaks for our lunch, and then we'll take a little nap and get up, watch Monday Night Raw, Memorial Day edition, and then have our sensible dinner, and then go to bed, and then next day we got I'm off the next day, and I don't go back until that Wednesday, and then pretty much I got like a month and change left because most of July it's pretty much I work like a few days in July, and then the end of July is my vacation. And then after that, after I come back near the end of July, right before SummerSlam, I'll be back. Probably the week of SummerSlam, I'll be back. And then 2 weeks after that is my mini vacation because I gotta use up all my vacation time. So that's when me and the missus are gonna do other stuff. I'm gonna take a three day weekend vacation, and then after that, smooth sailing through the rest of the year. That's that. All right, so that ends NXT. It was a pretty good show. I gave it a solid 7 out of 10 stars. Let me know what you guys think of NXT in a comment or just a comment down below, or do your own video. And that's all I gotta say about that. Make sure you like the video, subscribe. Like I said, let's hopefully get to 800 before the end of May, because we hit May right now. So happy May to you all. And that's pretty much it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. And until next time, if you're not down with that, I got 3 words for you. Fuck you, man. That's it. Enjoy your Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow with your AEW review. We'll talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Shame. And maybe I'll try to get that rant about Hulk Hogan in tomorrow. And then we'll talk about TNA Ring of Honor on Friday. Get you set up for SmackDown. And then the weekend and all that other good shit. For the unofficial first weekend of May. Cinco de Mayo weekend. And that's all I gotta say about that. So, that's it. Until next time, my friends. Be safe, be well. Have a great night. Peace.